For most gasoline passenger vehicles, crossing the 200,000-mile mark is the functional end of the road. At that point, the engine is considered worn out, with its best years far behind it. But in the world of diesel, 200,000 miles is just the beginning. This 1976 Mercedes 240D served as a taxi for decades, ultimately clocking 2.85 million miles on its original engine. To understand that gap, think of a gasoline engine like a greyhound, a high-strung animal built for rapid sprints. A diesel, however, is a draft horse. It is a massive, methodical creature designed for relentless, slow-motion pulling. The million-mile odometer is the intended outcome of a machine built for stamina rather than speed. This stamina starts with how the fuel is ignited. In a gasoline engine, the piston mixes fuel and air together, and a spark plug creates a controlled explosion to generate power. Diesel engines remove the spark plug entirely. Instead, they squeeze pure air so violently that it heats up to 500 degrees Celsius, hot enough that the fuel ignites spontaneously the moment it is injected. This requires a massive increase in the compression ratio. While a gas engine typically squeezes air at a 9-to-1 ratio, a diesel engine forces it into a much smaller space, reaching a ratio of 22-to-1. This high-pressure environment creates a significantly more violent combustion event compared to a gasoline spark. Every stroke is a heavy, intense explosion. Because the engine must survive this internal violence every second it runs, it is forced to be the strongest machine on the road. That strength is visible in the engine's bones. To prevent the block from cracking under the force of that 22-to-1 compression, it is cast from thick iron or graphite. The moving parts are reinforced to match. Diesel engines use oversized crankshafts to handle the torque, and heavy steel gears often replace the fragile rubber belts or timing chains found in gasoline cars. They also utilize active cooling systems for long-term endurance, including internal nozzles that spray cooling oil directly onto the underside of the pistons while the engine is running. The result is a machine that functions like a bulletproof vault. It is physically difficult to break, even under constant load. There is also a chemical advantage. Gasoline acts as a solvent, actively stripping away the thin film of lubricating oil from the cylinder walls. A diesel fuel is essentially a light oil. As it moves through the system, it coats and greases the engine's internal surfaces, providing an extra layer of protection against friction. It is also more energy dense. Diesel contains 20% more energy per gallon than gasoline, which allows the engine to perform more work while burning less fuel. Essentially, the draft horse eats a diet that greases its joints, while the greyhound's diet actively wears them down. Because of that high energy density, a diesel engine doesn't need to work as fast. At highway speeds, a gasoline engine might spin at 3,000 revolutions per minute, while a diesel comfortably loafs along at 1,500. Over a 10-hour drive, the gas engine suffers twice as many combustion cycles and friction events. Every revolution is a wear event. Scale that up to a 300,000-mile lifespan, and the gas engine endures billions more explosions and friction cycles than the diesel. By moving slower to produce more power, the diesel engine simply outlasts its competition through the avoidance of friction. Even the way these engines are used contributes to their life. The cold start is the engine's worst enemy, causing 75% of all lifetime wear because the oil hasn't reached the moving parts yet. Commuter cars perform dozens of these cold starts every week on short trips. Heavy-duty diesels are typically started once and run for the entire day, maintaining a steady, healthy operating temperature. Diesel engines were designed for this long-haul stability, maintaining a constant speed for hours rather than the erratic start-stop patterns of city driving. In agriculture, these engines maintain a steady jog under a heavy load for 14 hours straight. This consistent operation is far easier on the metal than repeated sprints from a cold sleep. Diesel engines live longer because their lives are defined by steady-state operation rather than the constant thermal shock of short trips. This longevity is a potential, not a guarantee. Modern diesels rely on complex emission systems like the DPF. A DPF, or diesel particulate filter, is a component in the exhaust system that captures soot particles to prevent them from entering the atmosphere. These systems require specific highway driving to stay clean. If you neglect oil changes or fuel filters, a diesel will fail just like any other engine, and the repair bills will be significantly higher. The secret to the million-mile engine is the combination of thick iron bones, a lubricating fuel, and a slow, steady heartbeat. This machine is engineered from the ground up to never stop.